Hello, my name on Roblox is Guest08522580 or call me Guest for short. My YouTube channel name is FPS Exorcist. I am, or in this case, was a veteran professional prison life player, or you could just assume I was one of the pioneer players. Don't believe me? I guess you have a reason to, as I didn't start uploading videos with NVIDIA GeForce Experience, also known as Shadowplay, in Roblox until December of the year 2016. But long before that, I used to play Roblox Prison Life 1.0. Don't believe that either? Well, in PL 1.0, the map had a lake, a skateboard you could ride, the taser would make you fall over either on your face or backwards like a rag doll effect, there was no tree that you could climb to enter the prison, you had to wait for one of the two gates to open, criminals were called citizens who spawned by a statue, the armory in the town had weapons and a missing wall, there was also a fun glitch where certain items like the skateboard, riot shield, hammer, etc., could make you fly, as in gain height or unlimited jump as long as you kept spamming, there were no mountains, instead you could fall off the map, the sewer escape got you outside the walls, and inside the prison a guard could lock individual cells. Need I say more? Prison Life 1.0 was one of the regular servers I've played in Roblox. Other games I've played were various obbies, Cole's Admin House, Deathrun 1.0 and 2.0, Build to Survive the Zombies, Advanced Warfare Tycoon, and a game I used to love playing called RBA Recruitment Center. These were the games I've played between the year that I first started playing Roblox, way back in 2013, and the years between that and 2016. Every server except Cole's and Deathrun lost their player counts and have seen faint signs of player life. Between Cole's and Deathrun, I only still play the latter, which would be Deathrun, all three versions of it, not regularly but it would still be the game I'd continue playing. Back onto the topic of prison life, it was 1.0 where I purchased my SWAT pass, and that would be the version I prefer. When Prison Life 1.0 disappeared and 2.0 came along in 2016, at first I was disappointed and didn't like its mechanics because I had gotten used to 1.0, fortunately I was allowed to keep my SWAT pass, then as I continued playing, I actually started to like it just like the predecessor. Although I had a different name at the time, I switched my name to something sort of original. I went by the name of Guest08522580 so I could mostly blend in with other guests, but since guest accounts had been removed, it officially made me one of the last guests in existence. I have even created an original look, and still have not changed my clothing. Despite the introduction, you are not here for a history lesson, you want to know how I used to play Prison Life now that I'm retired. Believe me, I have Roblox friends who have played Prison Life with me in my prime, copied my original look and have a similar play style, and they all want to know my secrets. Believe me, I've always read my YouTube comments, including theirs. First of all, my play style is also original, just like my look. Allow me to explain. To begin with, I like playing as an inmate. These are the reasons why I almost never play as a guard or criminal. Every game I play, I start on the inmate team and never switch. I like the difficulty of starting with nothing and then trying to become something. My full sessions between joining that server and leaving are all recorded and unedited from start to finish using Shadowplay. It's a pretty good recording software for Roblox games like Prison Life, but it's not perfect. As an inmate I also get the perks of killing as many armed guards or criminals as I want to without the penalty that guards receive or the stupidity criminals share when they murder unarmed inmates. Everybody I kill has a weapon and can defend themselves. Maybe some criminals don't pick up weapons and just play passively, but I can't tell if they are doing that, in that case, oops, otherwise most criminals are armed and dangerous. That's why I like playing as an inmate and almost only do that. I do not need to use my SWAT gear except the M4, when I do, it's me putting on my oven mitts because the type of specific player I'm fighting is a little mentally and egotistically too hot to handle, and that specific player is an exploiter who is challenging me for dominance. I will explain this in another video. On the rare occasions where I play as a guard, I only do it to end criminal reigns of terror within the prison walls, like when they spawn kill helpless inmates. A strong majority of the time, as an inmate I can kill all of the criminals regardless of how good or try hard they are or based on the size of their groups, using a pistol dropped on the ground by a dead guard or managing to sneak into the armory without getting blown to pieces by multiple AK-47s. When a guard or criminal kills an unarmed inmate who did nothing to them, I call this free killing, where the criminal claims free kills on unarmed and helpless inmates. That is weak and they are all pathetic. If they are free killing or spawn trapping inmates and make the fatal mistake of killing me, I will obliterate all of them, and then switch back to the inmate team, arm up, then show them who's boss. Criminals do this most of the time and are not friendly. Never ever trust a criminal. When I play as a criminal, most of the time it's either accidental when I step out of bounds of the prison as an inmate. When I decide to escape and be a criminal, I sneak into the prison and collect the M16, among other collectible items, kill as many guards as possible, free as many inmates as possible, giving them covering fire when they are attacked by guards, also avoiding inmates who shoot at me and want to fight. If they actually engage me in a gunfight, I am obligated to defend myself like all other players are, but almost every time, I run away from the inmates and hide because I just don't want to fight them. Otherwise they die accidentally when I try to kill a guard, and if I do kill an inmate who is armed, I don't kill them again. I'm not a free killer. There is no honor or skill in free killing. If you do that, you suck at prison life and are weak. There is a strong exception to everything I've just said. When I discover an inmate, guard or criminal who is exploiting, I will kill them with no remorse, but that's a topic for another video. Once I do collect my items, I escape again and just chill in the city. As an inmate, I have an objective. Go on an undefeated kill streak. This is also a topic for another video because there are rules to streaking. Let's talk about how I win gunfights. When I use weapons between fist or the knife, or the AK-47 or M16, I always zoom from third-person to first-person mode. I aim with my mouse based on PC first-person shooter games like Call of Duty. I do not kill in third-person mode unless it's by accident because I'm sitting at the tables in the cafeteria. I shoot in the direction my gun is pointing. Gunfights in FPS mode add the skill aspect to the game. Third person is used by most players in the game because it was the default combat and movement mechanic that is as old as Roblox itself. 2005. I do, however, use third-person mode for observational purposes only, like peeking around corners, getting a view of targets and planning my attacks, or just walking around while minding my surroundings. When players win all of their gunfights by shooting all three of their guns at once without reloading between weapons to do max damage, jumping and spinning in third-person mode. I call this play style the Beyblade style. I don't Beyblade, that makes me look silly. I win gunfights or kill players all in FPS mode because I like playing with skill. I use wireless Logitech gaming mice for all of my FPS games. I've been using them since the end of 2016. They have served me well. From the Logitech G900 Chaos Spectrum, to the G903, to the recent G502. If you don't own professional gaming mice like that, then any other mouse with a shoulder button on the left of the mouse and a minimum DPI of 800 as well as a polling rate of 1000 will do. Speaking of shoulder buttons, I have this one programmed to mimic the R key, to reload my weapons. I've always done this in all of my FPS games. I use Logitech G Hub to program my keys. I also play on a profile with middle click disabled and I use the polling rate and DPI mentioned earlier. It's also good to mention that my Windows mouse sensitivity or pointer speed in the mouse settings are at the default setting of 6, which is in the direct center of the scale. My Roblox in-game sensitivity is also a 0.15, allowing me to do an effortlessly and easy 180-degree spin with the flick of my wrist. However, unfortunately, long after retiring from prison life I had discovered how to disable all mouse acceleration. I had to turn up my sensitivity in all of my FPS games including Call of Duty and Roblox Phantom Forces, but I am way more accurate than I was as a result, so my Roblox sensitivity will have to be increased. It makes me feel like playing prison life again and seeing if I've still got it, or am way better than I was in my prime. However, I have made the decision to retire and I will keep it that way. I did however return for one last game where I got no kills, didn't die, get arrested or break the law, and followed inmate protocol for over an hour straight, dodging 2 assassins in the process. Back onto the topic of gaming mice, a mouse isn't a mouse without a mouse pad, so always use a mouse pad, any mouse pad will do. Just like mouse pads, any keyboard I've used worked for me as long as it has a basic numeric layout. I've used membrane keyboards like an Apple keyboard. I've used professional gaming keyboards like my old Corsair K70 RGB Rapidfire. Keyboards do not matter as long as they are working, all of their keys are functioning and they have the numbers above WASD in the basic pattern. My current keyboard or keypad, the GameSir Z1 has a gap between tilde and the 1 key, meaning the numbers are not lined up with WASD unlike standard keyboards. Why am I keeping my Z1? Because no other keyboard feels so good under my left hand. I really love it, but it wouldn't help me in prison life. If you notice where I put my weapons in my hotbar, I always have the M9 in the first slot, which is number 1, I have the Remington shotgun in the second key or number 2, I keep my M4 in number 3, and my keycard at number 4. If I'm a criminal and have both the AK and the M4, either of them take up keys 3 and 4 while the key card takes 5, which is my auxiliary key. Why do I have my weapons organized like this? Because they are all within reach of my ring and index pointer fingers. This allows me to switch weapons easier. I keep my middle finger resting on W and only move my ring finger that rests on A, switching to my M9 and Remington, my index finger. As for my pointer or index finger, I move it from D to my M4, key card, and auxiliary item slot. If you don't use a mouse shoulder button like me to reload, you'll be using your index finger to reload your weapons. I always reload before switching weapons. This is how I have my items arranged in my hotbar. When it comes to aiming, I have discussed my sensitivity, but you also should know the specific place I always aim for on an enemy avatar. Prison life has an incredibly slow time to kill. To make up for it, I aim for the head. Headshots do the most damage in all FPS games, more than any other part of the body. I line up the green dot inside the crosshair ring of the in-game reticle with the head of the player I'm trying to kill. Damage is important. If your shots are on point like mine, you can kill 3 enemies with a single clip of the M4 or AK-47, then maybe finish off a 4th with an M9. Speaking of the M9, I think you can get 2.5 kills with it if you aim for the dome with your sidearm. For enemies at range, just keep shooting at them. Line the crosshairs with their body and keep on shooting. If you run out of ammo, reload your AR and then switch to the M9, keep on shooting, reload, then switch back to your AR, keep shooting. Eventually you can pick up the long-distance kill. For Remington users, a shot to the head at point-blank range where all of the spread connects is almost an instant kill every time. On multiple occasions, I have used all 6 shots to get 6 headshot kills without reloading or switching to my secondary or AR for a cleanup. They were not SWATs or AFK, moving targets, and I claimed 6 one-shot kills in 8 seconds. I do not know if I did record that. A Remington can also clean up weak enemies, but you probably already know this. I've done this on a rare occasion, cleaning up 2 enemies with a single blast of a Remington. Both of the enemies had a maximum of 20% health and all I had to do was catch them both in the spread, then claimed a double kill. This is how effective I am at killing players in gunfights. Oh, and I have never ever used macros, auto-clicker, or any third-party exploits. Just good quality hardware, designated gaming optimization software for that same hardware, and a lot of skill. I've never ever cheated in prison life with exploits in my life. That's what losers do, and they are my next video's topic. The last time I've ever used an admin command was when I was playing Coles, and that game was still relevant, 5 years ago. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I appreciate you listening to this text-to-speech voice. I cannot explain in this video why I use it. If this makes you better than you were at prison life, feel free to show your appreciation. I'm not returning to prison life ever, but I will share all of my secrets for this next generation of Roblox players. My name is Guest08522580, also known as FPS Exorcist, and I almost only play Phantom Forces. Peace out.